welcome to the KnitChat with Jenn podcast. I am the Jenn. Welcome. This is season 3, episode 2. My God, I made it another week. Yay! Woohoo! It is Tuesday, June 25th. And I am coming at you from Hayward, California, which is a suburb of San Francisco Bay Area. All right, today we're going to talk about knitting, we're going to talk about books, and we're going to talk and talk. Hopefully not that much. All right, let's get into the knitting first. I started a new project. I don't have any finished objects. I did block, weave in ends and block the Pure Joy shawl. I wore it on Thursday to knit group and everyone loved it. Oh, also grab your beverage of choice. This is my supernatural mug. I'm drinking decaf coffee with frothed oat milk. Yes, I'm sorry. Georgie's behind me. As you can see, it's a different angle. I'm still podcasting on the floor, but I wanted to see how it would be if it was directly. I don't know, whatever. But the sun's still nice, and we gotta get it before it's... Anyway, up ahead and the lighting is not as good. By the way, if you can't drink dairy or won't drink dairy, I drink dairy. But if you can't drink dairy or don't drink dairy and almond milk and soy milk are not an option for you, oat milk. All right, let's get back to the knitting, shall we? I finished the Pure Joy, I finished. Sorry, there's a hair. What the hey? Oh. Goodness gracious. All right. I finished the Pure Joy, showed it to knit group, and immediately I started on another shawl. This is the Nymphalia, and I'm going to be putting the name of it in the down below description box. I am 3/4 done, all right? So it starts like this and it progresses on. You still have this lace pattern down below, but then it progresses with its stockinette stitch. It's, again, I'm doing a shawl with short rows. So you do a lot of short rows on the bottom with the lace, and then you keep going, all right? And then this is what it looks like right now. So I've been looking at the pictures, I believe it's gonna be worn like this. So you kind of wear it like this. If you can hear that, that's Georgie. Georgie, shh. You want to come here? Do you want to come here? Come here. All right. You can't see her. All right. I love you. You're loud. I'm sorry if that sound makes you like cringe, but do you need water, Bubba? No. She loves my daybed. So anyway, I am going, it calls for 7 repeats of what she calls a wedge, which is the lace pattern, and then this she calls a welt. So it calls for 27 repeats of this. I have been going much more than 27 repeats. Bye, Georgie. Because I really wanted to use up the yarn. This summer, I am on a mission this summer. Since I have more time to knit, I really want to get through my old stash and knit up a lot of shawls. So that is what's going on. I'm trying to use up as much of the yarn as possible. I have a feeling I'm going to be finishing this today while I watch podcasts and documentaries and stuff. So hopefully it'll be a finished object next week. I am using the needles called for, size 6. I tend to use the patterns needles unless otherwise I don't do gauge swatches. I live dangerously. I'm a tight knitter in a sense that I'm always on gauge. Now, knock on wood, but I've been knitting for so long that I tend to get gauge 89% of the time, and when I don't, it still fits me. Magic. That's all I have to say. Magic. The yarn that I'm using, if you want to see, it's relatively almost done. See, it's like, I am going to be done. I'm almost done. This orange is from Albuquerque. I bought this in 2015 when I was visiting Albuquerque. It's souvenir yarn. I bought this when we were in Albuquerque for a wedding, and it's called ABQ yarn, and it is superwash BFL nylon, 80/20, 80/20, 400 yards, 100 grams, and it's called Tequila Sunrise. I don't know why I picked orange. I don't know why. It wasn't my colors then, and I don't think it's been my color now, but I don't know. This yarn, this other colorful variegated yarn, is Madeline Tosh. And I'll show you the tag. Madeline Tosh. Tosh sock. Which is 100% merino wool. 395 yards. Not obviously, but most of the time 100 grams. And it's called Frida. Okay. So that's almost done. Very much almost done. Almost done. And as you can see, I've been moving this along, so I can't really tell you if that's how much because you haven't seen it before. But it has my little secret progress keeper. That is what I've been mostly knitting on. I also have, as I said, my travel socks. It's all over the place, so I'm on the heels on that, but again, I'm not really going to show you that until they're done, just because those will take forever to finish. That's Georgie again. The second thing, if you're wondering about the Novelli tee, I'm still in the boring stockinette stitch. I've been using this. I've been knitting this while we've been watching TV in the living room. We just finished Jessica Jones. Good. I believe, so here's my progress keeper here. I believe goodness gracious, gray balls of fire. I believe I was here the last time I showed you, and then I just knit up this much from here, here and up. Okay. So again, I'm almost there. I'm knitting to 11 inches, which is, I believe, what the pattern calls for in the body. It says so in the diagram,
because again, I'm not doing the color work, so I'm basing it off the schematics. All right, so I'm at, the last time I checked, I was around 8 inches, so I still have a couple more inches. All right, so that's where I'm at now. And if you want to check more details of the yarn, check out the last podcast. And I believe I have updated it in Ravelry. So, just to let you know, I'm going to move the progress keeper up to here so you know for next time. So if you notice, if you look really closely, I do, this is the I'm saving money, I can't buy all the progress keepers that I want. This is my way of still having a progress keeper without having to buy all the progress keepers. I take a stitch marker that has a cute little thing on it, and I use those light bulb clips on it. So this is a stitch marker that I got from a kit from Little Skein in the Big Wool. It was her rock the vote kit. It was the election kit, and this was one of the goodies. All right, that is all that I have been knitting on. After this, kind of talk about a little bit of a future knits. After this, after the Nymphaladea, I believe in the pattern. It is a pattern that you can either buy if you want more specific instructions, or you can get on knitty.com. So it's free, but also if you want more instructions, you can buy it. And I believe the pattern says that Nymphaladea is Latin for butterfly. So again, I'm going to put the information in the description. Dream knitting. After this, I'll be knitting the Birds of a Feather by Andrea Mowry. Let me show you. Let me inch my butt over to grab it. In this bag, which I also got in Albuquerque. Here's the yarn that I'm going to use. Now, it calls for mohair. I don't like mohair. It's too itchy. It's just too itchy. So, and again, I'm trying to use yarn in my stash that I've had for a while. Excuse me. So I got this. I won this at Stitches South. When did I go? 2014, 13. Every time I buy yarn now, I'm going to seriously put the date that I bought it, and I'm going to put it in Ravelry, because I feel like I really should with all my yarn buying. Not that I've been buying as much yarn as I used to. If you have been watching from the very beginning, maybe season 1, you would have known how much I bought. I've slowed down. I really have. But yeah, I believe this was 2014, 2013, at least 2013. Yeah, I won this at Stitches South. This is Bijou Spun. Bijou Basin, I believe I heard that they are closing the shop because of retirement. But I bought this. This is Seraphim. It's 95% Angora, 5% viscose. It is lace weight. Okay. And I checked on Ravelry. It says it is lace weight, and I can see from the string, it is definitely at least a light lace, heavy lace, but it's definitely lace. Because if you compare it with the other skein, so I'm mixing it with, oh, that's upside down, with wool masa, and this tends to be a heavier, they tend to be heavier in their weight, so this is probably a heavy. So if you look, if you can see this, oh, goodness gracious, see how thinner this is to this. You can also do, if you really want to know, this is, oh, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I don't want to take it out of the thing. Oh, who bloody cares? Okay, so you can also twist it to kind of see how it reacts with each other. So this is going to be a nice, it's not going to be as see-through for the lace because, again, this is not mohair, especially with the mohair out there that tends to be more see-through. This is not going to be as see-through as pictures have been showing of the shawl, but I still think with the weights, it's going to be very pretty. So, Christmas! I bought a lot of wool masa. I believe this is also 2014. No! Oh my goodness. Okay. Met my husband 2013?
Yes.
Thank you. Married in 2015. I got this in 2012. Okay. 2012. I think I bought this in 2012. This was before him too. Yes, 2012 at least, or 2011. Yes, I always think I met him in 2015. No, 2013, October 2013. Got married December 2015. Oy. So that's my dream knitting. That's what's going to be next. I doubt I'm going to finish the novelli anytime soon, but if I do finish the novelli, I'm going to be trying to knit the shawl sweater, or maybe another shawl. I don't know. If you want to see my queue, I don't know if people can see my queue, but if you want to look at my queue, I've made it so that you can see the progression of what I'm going to try to knit during the summer. That is my plan. That is my wish. We'll see. I am not part of Stash Dash, which is a fun little make along, knit along, that sort of thing from the Knit Girls for the summer. It always starts at the end of Laura's school year and goes to when she starts school. I am not doing that because I really wanted more of a project-based competition than a yardage. So I'm getting there. All right, books. We are going to talk about books. I finished Light on Yoga. Again, it was going to be a short read because I wasn't going to read the whole entire thing. So I started reading this. For All the Tea in China by Sarah Rose. The subtitle says, How England Stole the World's Favorite Drink and Changed History. It's actually a very good read. I'm almost done. I have 20 pages left. I could have finished it last night, but I don't know why I didn't finish. I'm a night owl. To be perfectly honest, I am a night owl. But not in the sense of other night owls. I don't go out and party hardy. I'm an introverted night owl, which is I'm in my pajamas and I watch TV or I read until the crack of dawn, if I was allowed to. probably because of some of the insomnia. I could have finished it, but I really was forcing myself to go to bed at a, I'm going to put it in quotes, reasonable time, which is 9, 10 o'clock. I need to stop doing that. It's summer. Enjoy myself, right? I could have finished it, but I made myself drink goodnight tea, so I fell asleep. Let me read to you the back. By 1848, the British East India Company faced the prospect of losing its 200-year monopoly on the fantastically lucrative tea trade with China. Determined to grow its own tea on territory it controlled in the Indian Himalayas, the company made the extraordinary decision of sending botanist Robert Fortune on a dangerous mission to steal the tea plants from deep within China. Set against a landscape of unearthly beauty, For All the Tea in China is the story of Fortune's mission of corporate espionage, a struggle against pirates, suspicious locals, the elements, and his own untrustworthy companions, all for the sake of a humble belief that would change the world forever. It's a good read. I would recommend this. As, again, I like to do a lot of nonfiction reading. Not a lot, but a good amount of nonfiction reading and documentaries during the summer because I don't want my mind to atrophy or get lazy, because it's a harder transition to go from light and fluffy summer to then start having to teach. This is my experience, of course. So that's why I do nonfiction. And honestly, my brain is more able to soak up the knowledge than when I'm stressed out at work, which, to be perfectly honest, I'm not as stressed. I was not as stressed this last school year, but this school year I know I'm going to be a little bit more stressed out because I'm finishing school. I'm taking on a project at work that I'm really excited about, and just starting a little bit more development of my program at school. So I really want to soak up knowledge as much as I can before I go in and read all the fluffy stuff. So, because I know I'm going to be reading fluffy stuff during school. So, the point that I was making was that this book for nonfiction is a narrative nonfiction. So it tells history and gives you facts through story rather than the dry facts. I read the dry facts nonfiction only because, I enjoy the dry facts. It tells it to me straight up. But I do enjoy narrative nonfiction as well. So if you like narrative nonfiction, definitely check this out. You learn a lot about tea and how tea was actually not in England until a little bit before Victorian times. So check it out. Learn about tea. It's great as I drink coffee. I also have a book that I may read this summer or maybe some other time, The History of Coffee, because last summer when we went to Ireland and England, I just got so interested on how did we start drinking tea? How did we start drinking coffee? Like how did it happen? So that's why I got 2 books about tea and 1 book about coffee. So I read the first book. It was very dry. I skimmed that one. This one I'm not skimming, and then I have the coffee one. All right. Next section, I completely forgot to say that I was going to talk a little bit about stash enhancement. It's not going to be much. And honestly, I don't really want to parade all the yarn that I have bought, which is very little. Again, I don't have much room in my craft/office room anymore. I have cubes. Maybe I'll give you a little craft room
tour if you really want it. At the end of this, well, I'm going to show it to you anyway. After I keep talking at my phone to you. Just to tell you, so there's cubes there. I have filled the cubes. So a lot of it is because it's sweater quantities of yarn. So that's why it's filled. It's not just filled with one skein wonders or two skeins. It's sweater quantities, and I am a thick lady, so I do require a lot. So that's why I'm trying to knit down a lot of my older stash so then I can fit in a lot more of my sweater quantities and also feel like I have a handle of things. But anyway, I did buy some progress keepers. I have been wanting to buy from Sucre Miniatures for a long time. Let's see if I can. Nope, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. So Susie, brie cheese, a coffee mug, and a chocolate sprinkle donut. All the things that I love. Cheese. I love cheese. And then because I've been cutting out a lot of meat, I've been eating fish if I really do need, if I'm going to eat protein. And sushi has been an easy way of doing that. And then, come on, coffee. That's what I bought. I bought this a while ago, but you know how it is. I think this is ready. It's like pre-sale when you order from her Etsy, so she has to have time to make it and all that stuff. So it came in, and that's it. That's all I bought. I think. I didn't buy any yarn. No. I did buy yarn before episode 1, but I don't think you need to see that. It's, again, sweater quantity of yarn, and it's a nice cotton. And I'll, when I start knitting with it, you'll see. All right, so next is chatter. Now, normally podcasters say, if you don't care about the chatter and just here for the knitting, please have a great day. But I'm not going to say that. I'm not. Because, and I've been starting to think about this as we, Peter Bomb, as we talk about, again, the reason why I started this back up, other than enjoying talking to myself at myself, but also, again, bringing back diversity and acceptance, diversity, love, and all that stuff. What's been going on right now has been Ravelry, and it all started because a woman had reported a pattern that had coded racist language. And at the time when you report a pattern, it is not anonymous. And the person and the pattern maker saw this person had reported her and started harassing her and had her friends harass her and continuously harass her, told her to go back home because the person that reported it she is BIPOC. BIPOC means black and indigenous people of color. Okay, she is BIPOC, and so they kept telling her to go back home. Just really not okay things to say. And this poor woman is still having to be private because now someone is harassing her that knows her personal contact information. That's not okay. And so that spurred a lot of changes in Ravelry. Now you can report a pattern anonymously. You can also report a user anonymously for hate speech. But I think at the very end they decided this is not right. And so they made
a unilateral policy, and you can check out my grid on Instagram to see, although I did post stories, but they've disappeared. So mad that I didn't catch it. About the situation and just my views of the policy. And you can view the policy itself if you go to Ravelry. If you're here for the knitting, you need to be here for my personal life, my personal views. Because, getting back to the topic, to my point, which happens a lot, I tend to go on tangents. If I'm gonna share my knitting with you, you need to also understand my politics and my beliefs. Knitting cannot, my hobbies and my loves all tie back to my beliefs, my stances, everything. I believe in love. I don't believe anything said in hate is okay. People can have their opinions unless it is from hate, ignorance, inability to listen. And so I support Ravelry because the current administration, the Trump administration, has shown that they are not of love. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about or just confused, again, I encourage you to please read and please listen to what is on the news. If you're going to blame me for having a liberal only listening or reading liberal news, I'm going to tell you right now, I read and listen to NPR and PBS, who are considered neutral. And if you want proof, listen to their morning show. They've had multiple stories about the other side, and they have been very, very encouraging of looking at the other side, listening and talking to other people on the other side. Although Michael Inskeep is you can tell his bias, but David, Renee have been very much like, let's listen to the other side. So I am not of the stance of going so liberal. I always listen and read my newspapers from a neutral side as much as I can. So this is not coming from a bias. As a librarian, I like to look at all sides, and I have not found a single piece of evidence that tells me that this administration comes from love. Look at the information going on about the detention centers. Look at how they reacted to the Charlottesville protests. Look at what he says. Listen to what he says, please, and tell me that is not from hate. Watch his speeches. Watch what these people say out of their mouths. Please listen. It is not out of love. Absolutely not out of love. When you talk about another group of people and you call them rapists, murderers, that's not out of love. And that is not out of truth. As an academic, you cite your reasoning with true facts. Simple as that. Cite me evidence. Cite me evidence. Cite me evidence. Okay? If you don't agree with me, here's the door. Right there. Here's the door. Get out. No, not you, Ollie. Get out. Don't spew hate. Don't spew hate. All love. So yes, I stand for Ravelry. I support Ravelry. And I was private on my Instagram for reasons that I'm not fully going to get into, because as a teacher, I experienced something that made me very much want to be private, but now I'm public and I'm ready. I'm ready. Of course, now I have to go through and block all the accounts that are spam and weird men that want, I don't know, but I have to go through and block it. I'm going to have to go through and block it, because this needs to be told, this needs to be said. And so I've been very publicly responding to people's comments on Instagram, really becoming more loud. In the past few years, in order to be kinder, I have tone policed a lot of what I've said, but now I don't feel it's necessary anymore. This needs to be said now, especially because I am a privileged woman. I am passing. If you didn't know already, I am half Filipino, half white. I look like my father, who is the white portion of me. And I have never experienced feeling unsafe. My husband's phone keeps, I don't know what he's doing, but he's making noises. I have never felt unsafe. Maybe because I live in California, although California has its own issues, but I've never felt unsafe. I've felt uncomfortable and unwelcome, but I've never felt unsafe, and that is a privilege. Because I pass, but I do get I've had a lot of people come up to me really close and say, "Oh, where are you from?" I've gotten a lot of that, and I've gotten a lot of, "So, how's Mexico?" What? So, are you Cuban? I got that from a child, though. It's microaggression racism, but I've never had fully felt unsafe, and that is a privilege, and that is why I need to speak up now. And also LGBTQ issues. I am bisexual, but I married a man. So again, passing. And I have that privilege. So I need to check my privilege, and I need to start speaking up and being loud and proud. So that is why I'm talking about it. See, look. I got this at Stitches West this year. So that is my soapbox on it. Now I'm going off it. Again, if you disagree with me and you're not willing to talk about it and have a conversation that cites evidence to support your arguments, there's the door. If you cannot speak neutrally and you cannot speak without hatred spewing out of your mouth without evidence, again, here's the door. See you later. Bye. I hope you're able to eventually come to Jesus. The phrase "come to Jesus." Okay? All right. Other than that, other chatter, nothing much really in the world of Jenn. We are still on summer break, as obvious of my knitting. I've been trying this summer also to not become a hermit, because when you have no place to go and you're an introvert, it's easy just to live in your office or your house or your apartment and not do anything. So I've been trying to do a lot more social stuff, like going to my local, not really local, to be perfectly honest, it's not local to me, but I still drive and still go to a yarn store called Black Squirrel over in Berkeley, and I sit and knit with people and I hang out with my friends and whatnot. So I've been doing that on Thursdays. I'm still doing my crafty brunch with my local Stitch and Bitch that I created. If you're local to Hayward and you want to Stitch and Bitch, it's once a month. Look for it on Meetup called Hayward Stitch and Bitch. I've been actually getting a good amount of people and, you know, very nice, wonderful people. So I'm excited about that. So I'm doing that. I'm also doing a lot of hikes. So Peter and I on yesterday, we went to the Hayward shoreline. We went previously on Friday, and you'll see the vlog of that up. I posted it on Friday, but we went again without the foxes. Again, if you want to know more of the vlogs, check it out. We got to be closer to the shoreline and enjoy the beautiful sea breeze because it was bloody 80 degrees inland. So it was just nice to walk with Georgie and enjoy the sunshine without it burning. And we're planning to do a lot more hikes so that way we don't again become hermits. What else? Family party Saturday. Again, I'm an introvert. I don't know if I'm an introvert extrovert, but when I am with people that I'm somewhat comfortable with, I do tend to be all like, hey, what's up? But when it's people I don't know and I only have one person that I know, I do tend to crowd and like hide on the side and just watch people. But that takes a lot of energy to actually be around people. So I was around people on Saturday for a family thing in Manteca, and then I had book club on Sunday. So Monday, I was just like, no, people, no. So I actually forced myself to go out because a hike, you don't really encounter that many people, especially on a weekday. So even though I really wanted just to stay home, and I rested, I did all that stuff, but I also wanted to get out in the fresh air. So that's what I did. This upcoming week, we were supposed to go to the Alameda County Fair, but I decided that with the human interaction last weekend, and I'm trying to save money for our future road trip, I don't think it would be a good idea to go to the fair because there's a lot of merchants. I feel like with fairs, I feel like with that sort of stuff, you spend a lot of money. You know, you're paying for the tickets, you're paying to park, you're paying for the food. I think there was a wine festival. That's why we decided to go that day. So then I believe you also have to pay for the festival, and I don't need to drink that much anymore. I drank a lot on Saturday. If you don't know by now, I'm a wino. I love wine. It's delicious, and I drank a lot of wine on Saturday. So I think I need to take a break this next Saturday. So it was going to be a wine festival, and I knew that I was going to drink a lot. And then I think you have to pay for that, and then there's merchants, and I've gotten really good self-control when it comes to buying stuff now, but I just feel like it's an event that surrounds purchasing stuff, and I feel like it's not going to be as fun, you know. We could have seen the animals. So the other thing is, the reason why we were going to go is because I really want a bunny rabbit. I want a zoo, okay? I want a zoo. I want alpacas, I want sheep, I want bunny rabbits, I want parakeets. I want all the animals, but I can't have all the animals. That is the problem. So I didn't want to torture myself because I know I have to be responsible and understand that we have room for a rabbit, but it's not safe for a rabbit in here because not only do we have the 2 cats, we have Georgie, the dog. All 3 of them are going to hunt the rabbit. The only place we would be able to have the bunny safe would be outside, and I don't feel comfortable with the rabbit. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I have an itch in my nose. So I'm sorry if this grosses you out, but I have an itch. I'm not picking my nose, I swear. So it would be outside, and I don't feel comfortable having the rabbit outside because of the elements. What if it's too cold? You know, I would be worrying about the bunny too much. So it would be a torture to go to the fair and see all the animals that I cannot have. So I decided, you know what, I'm pulling the plug on the fair. So I thought of what could we do on Saturday that doesn't make us hermits. And I decided Point Reyes. I haven't been there in a very long time. And it's another wonderful, beautiful seaside hike. Hey, Ollie. I know. You would hunt that rabbit, huh? Yes, you would. I haven't been to Point Reyes. I've only been there once since living in Sonoma County. And Peter and I are very much ocean people. So I think it would be a wonderful day trip. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to Point Reyes. And then Sunday is my crafty brunch. And I think that's second to last week. This is the second to last weekend before we go on a road trip. I'm excited. I'm trying to go to a lot of places that I haven't been to or only been once. So we're going to Santa Barbara, then to Laguna Beach, then to San Diego to visit some friends and my cousin. And then from there, we're going to visit my sister in Arizona to see their house and just spend some time there. And then from there, we're going to Joshua Tree National Park. I've never been there. I think I've seen Joshua trees maybe once or twice in my life, and I would really like to see it again. So from there and then go home. Since I have a hybrid, it's a little bit less expensive to do road trips, so I really want to take advantage of my hybrid car. Yeah, but that's it. I think I've talked at you a good amount of time. I don't think there's anything more I really want to say. No, that's it. All right. Thank you so much for joining me in this little tiny corner of YouTube. If you like this video, please hit the like thumb button. If you'd like to know when more videos are coming up, please subscribe. It makes me feel good. But I've decided in all the couple of years that I've been doing this that it's not about the followers, it's about what I put out there. Again, diversity, putting a face out there. So please subscribe, but I'm not going to get butthurt if you don't. I'm just doing this for fun. I'm enjoying it, telling my truth, and showing my knitting and talking about stuff. All right, it's 48 minutes. I will talk to you later. Bye.